The series begins with the ambulance men running in order to save a person, and we know that there is a car. An old man had an accident, and a young man appeared and went to help her. He helps them, but he laughs as they try to save him and transport him in the ambulance. His friend comes and rides with him. The car breaks down. He tries to speak and says they said it was good, but no one saw it at all. To understand, we go back 4 hours in a flashback. We learn that he is still a young man named Song, a high school student, but a failure. He always falls and doesn't do anything useful. His life is ruined. From the classroom to sitting on the roof like this, full of troubles. His friend goes to call him and tell him the teacher is looking for him. And of course, he doesn't want to listen to her words. She tells him to attend class on time. We see a group of students bullying their colleague. They give the bullies money to leave him alone. The leader of the bullies hits him, and he falls to the ground. They take his wallet. Suddenly, Song arrives. He defends the student and beats up the bully. He breaks his facial bones and takes his money, but the teacher sees him and thinks he's bullying his classmate. She thinks he stole his money and insults him, saying he deserves to be expelled from school. But Song doesn't care about what they say. He gives the student his money and leaves. He goes home, and we learn that he lives with his stepmother. She keeps telling him he's a failure and that education isn't for him. She says he'd better leave school because it's impossible for him to succeed and graduate. But of course, he leaves. He comes to school as usual. When he leaves the house, he's surprised by some students who want him. He tells them, "Please, I don't want to fight today. I'm in a bad mood. I'm sacrificing." These students try to fight the hero, but he always catches them and breaks their bones. Of course, they don't care. So that they can fight him again and harm Song, he teaches them manners. He turns into a ferocious beast. He starts flying at the first one, pushing him away, and no one can touch him. He even grabs their shoe and gives him a good beating until he makes an example of him in front of everyone. He warns that if he messes again, he will regret it. The leader of the bullies tells him, "Okay, I'll come for you and get my revenge one day." He laughs, but our hero arrives at the market and sees a little boy playing. He returns his ball. The boy thanks him, and we learn that Song is kind, but he doesn't show it. He enters the restaurant to have lunch, and his girlfriend enters. But when her friends see Song, they get scared and leave the restaurant. She goes to talk to him and tells him that there are rumors about him, that he bullies students and hits her. She asks him to defend himself. "I know you are kind, and you would never do that," she says. He replies, "What's wrong with you? Don't give me a headache." He says whatever they say doesn't matter, but suddenly he hears a commotion and sees a big car pull off the road and into the market. People are scared and run away from it, but he sees the child going to get his ball again. He runs after him and tries to get him out of the way quickly, but unfortunately, the car hits him and he dies. We return to the present, and this is the scene we were in. Song learns that he died because of the accident, but suddenly, a girl named Toda appears out of nowhere. She tells him, "By the way, you're not really dead. Let me introduce myself. I'm the Reaper of Souls." She has a card with information about him, telling him that he's stubborn, reckless, and acts quickly. Song gets angry and doesn't let her finish. He goes to the clinic and checks on the child. When he finds out that he's okay, he starts walking normally, not caring that he's actually dead. Here, Toda says to him, "Are you ready now to go to the other world? Or even go to hell? It doesn't matter." She tells him, "Okay, leave us alone." He continues talking, and she knows he won't go into anything, not even watermelon or pomegranate, and God forgive me for what they're saying. She tells him, "You'll come with me to the spirit world so I can explain everything to you." She opens a magical gate, and they go in. They get on a boat to cross the river, and Song is shocked and can't comprehend what's happening. They arrive at a strange place, and there he meets the King of Spirits. The king tells him that he will bring him back to life on the condition that he works for him as a spirit investigator, and his job will be to solve cases related to demons. He shows him the form of these creatures, which are in the shape of an insect similar to a grasshopper, and tells him that they exist in the human world. He asks him to find out the reason for their existence and arrest them, and he is confident that he will agree because he will come back to life. But Song is shocked. He tells him he doesn't agree, that he doesn't like being given orders. He adds that he's sure everyone will be happy when he dies, and then he leaves. The king takes advantage of his personality because he's the first person to refuse to come back to life. Tota goes to talk to him and tells him not to make a decision until he attends his own funeral first. Then he'll know if anyone is truly happy or not. She convinces Song with her words, and he goes. There, he sees the student he saved going to buy flowers to put on his grave. But the bullying students beat him up and take his money. Song gets angry at their behavior, but is happy that the student still remembers him. When he enters the house, he finds the boy he saved attending the funeral with his mother. He says he loves Song and is waiting for him to wake up so he can thank him. His mother is upset by his words words, because he doesn't know that Song sacrificed his life for him, and she hugs him and cries. Song is deeply affected by what he sees. He then sees his girlfriend standing in front of his picture, crying because she used to argue with him. She wishes he would come back to life. Even his stepmother is affected by his death and cries because she had wronged him and saw him as a failure. But when he died, she realized he was a hero. Song is completely moved when he sees everyone around him loves him. He starts to feel like he wants to come back to life. Even the bullies keep brutally beating their classmate, knocking him to the ground to please themselves, because now no one can resist or defend him. The closest one of them is holding a lighter, and it looks like he's going to use it. But the student keeps crying and can't believe what's happening to him. He feels like he's living in his own hell, surrounded by demons. Suddenly, the creature in the form of a grasshopper appears and enters his body. He starts convulsing. Sounds come from his ears, terrifying everyone. He hits one of the bullies, manages to defeat him, and everyone is freed from what happened. The leader of the bullies hears the sound and is surprised by its source. He runs there, but the student is no longer in control of himself and continues to hit them. Everyone is terrified of him, and the situation changes. Their motorcycle spills gasoline on the ground, and a fire breaks out because of the lighter. The students get scared and run away. The leader arrives and is shocked by what's happening. At that moment, Song is standing in front of his girlfriend, who is crying in her sleep. He approaches her and wipes her tears to comfort her, but it's as if she senses him. Even though she can't see him, she wakes up and keeps calling for him, asking him to come back. Song goes out and tells Tota that he agrees to become a spirit investigator. Of course, she is happy with his words and goes to the Spirit King to tell him what happened. But the king tells him that he had already started a long time ago and that he must return to life because there is a fire near his house and his body is in danger. At that moment, his stepmother notices that Song is breathing, but the fire is reaching the house. The neighbors quickly rescue her and get her out of the house, but she keeps screaming, telling them Song is still alive and wants to go in and save him. But no one believes her and thinks she's just hallucinating. His girlfriend can't believe what's happening. She says, "I'm sure he's alive," and with a plan enters the house. That's when Song arrives and sees what she's doing. He's afraid for her and asks her to leave him alone, but she can't hear him because he's almost invisible. She prepares his body to protect him from the fire, and the roof of the house collapses on her. But our hero saves her and continues carrying her. The Spirit King sees what's happening. Song tries to save her because if she dies, he will have no reason to return to life. He insists on obeying all his commands, so the Spirit King agrees and tells him to remember the oath he made. He uses his power and casts a spell on him, bringing him back to life. Song wakes up, unable to believe his eyes, while his girlfriend has fainted from the smoke. He carries her and leaves the house. His stepmother is shocked when she sees him, but he leaves his girlfriend with her and tells her she will understand everything later. Right now, there are people he needs to help. He leaves and goes to the place where the creature is. The king tells him that this is his first mission and asks him to eliminate the creature and save the city. Song arrives at the place, and they try to attack it together, but it has superhuman strength. With one move, it knocks them all to the ground. The leader of the bullies goes to put out the fire, and the creature attacks him again from behind, hitting him with a stick. It gets closer to finish him off, and the bully is scared and feels that this is the end for him. But suddenly, Song arrives just in time and moves quickly, hitting the creature and pulling it away from the student. He tries to talk to the student to bring him back to normal, but the creature is controlling him and threatening him. It then flies away, and Song keeps fighting with it. He uses all his strength to defeat it, but he fails. He hears the Spirit King speaking in his ear, telling him that the only way to defeat the creature is to use his spiritual energy. Song doesn't understand anything, neither do I, my dear. So our hero asks him to teach him, and the king begins to explain, but he still can't understand. Tota tells him to do the same thing he did when he tried to save his friend from the fire. But at that moment, the creature begins to possess the student's body, changing its form into a terrifying monster. Its hand transforms into a blade-like knife. It crawls on the ground at great speed. Song reacts to what's happening and tries to escape, but his stomach is ripped open. Tota is afraid to look at him and can't watch. The king reassures her, telling her to trust him. Song tells him to tie the creature to the electrical wires. He tries to get the insect out of the student, but the creature cuts through the wires. He holds them and keeps pushing them away, and the fire reaches reaches the gas pipe. A huge explosion occurs, and Song quickly hides from the blast, but falls to the ground, exhausted. The creature takes the opportunity and approaches him. Here, Song speaks to the student within him, telling him to resist and return to his normal self. He hears the student crying and asking for help. Song, tired, throws a bicycle at the creature. He sits on top of it and remembers Tota's words. He begins to gather all his spiritual energy in his hand and strikes the student with it. Song tries to expel the insect from his body. He grabs it and destroys it with his hand. He carries the student on his back and leaves. The next day, he goes to the restaurant, and his friend is shocked when she sees him. She can't believe her eyes that he's alive again. She cries with joy, and Tota is happy that he succeeded in his mission. But the King of Spirits tells her that this was the weakest creature, and the journey is still long. He shows her 3 magical tools and tells her that Song must retrieve them. He says that the spirit world and the human world will be in danger, and this is the next mission. Everyone is trying to steal a magical tool from them. A giant steals the magic ball, and there are 2 others with the same strength as the giant. Each one can use their own special skill to steal what they want. Then we see one of the creatures in the human world sitting in a garden holding a magical tool shaped like a ball. A child sees him and asks about it, but the creature laughs and says it's something special. Suddenly, a strong storm hits the place, and he sings to all the children. They fall to the ground. With his magical laugh, he absorbs their souls and pierces them with an arrow. Then the Spirit King calls Song to train him to use spiritual energy and fight the creatures, but Song fails to control it. But suddenly, he sees what happened in the garden and knows that the creatures have begun their plan to take over the world. He goes to the hospital. Song sees the children in a coma and feels sorry for them. He wants to help them and asks Tota to tell him where the creatures are so he can defeat them and return the children's souls. She tells him it's impossible for him to do that. He's still too weak. Then they see the leader of the bullies, who thanks Song for saving his life. They ask how he did it and how he defeated the student, but Song doesn't know how to lie. He tells him that he died, and the King of Souls brought him back to fight the evil creatures using a spirit card. Tota is shocked by his honesty and takes him out of the hospital. The bully thinks Song is hallucinating because of medication, but they soon learn he is telling the truth. Afterward, Tota tells Song about the creature with the magic ball. She tells him that he is the most dangerous of them all because he feeds on the souls of children and no one knows where he is. But Song doesn't care and tells her he will go eat first so he can defeat the creature. He leaves and goes to the restaurant where he meets the child who saved him. The child is happy when he sees him and thanks him for what he did, but he's also sad. He tells Song that his friends fainted and he can't find anyone to play with. So, Song goes to check for himself. When he arrives, he sees a child suddenly collapse on the ground. The one who did this is Baton, and he's nearby. He keeps searching for him until he finds him, but Baton tries to run away. Song keeps chasing him until they reach a car depot. He sees the magic ball lying on the ground and goes to pick it up, but suddenly, the creature transforms into a huge monster. It attacks him from behind and tells him that he is weak and that it will overcome him in seconds. It has superhuman strength to the point that it can knock over a car with a single blow. Song is shocked and tries to dodge its attacks as much as possible, escaping between the parked cars. He tries to hit it using his street fighting skills, but the creature rips off a car door and throws it at him. Song jumps over it and dodges at the last moment using his magic. He knows that the only way to defeat it is to use his spiritual energy, so he tries to gather his strength in his hand as the king told him, but he doesn't succeed. The creature senses him and comes for him. It grabs him and keeps hitting him with all its might, breaking his facial bones and lifting him into the air. He feels that his end is near, but suddenly, the child he saved appears and throws the ball at the creature, telling it to stay away. The creature is impressed by his courage and says, "I will absorb your soul. I love souls like you." It grabs the magic ball and approaches him to feed on him. Song tries to stop it and grabs its legs, telling the child to run away, but the creature throws him away and unfortunately succeeds in absorbing the child's soul. Song becomes furious about what happened. His temper flares and he attacks it, gathering all his strength into an energy blast and hitting it with it. He finally succeeds in defeating it and killing it. The magic ball falls to the ground and all the children's souls leave it and return to their bodies. The child wakes up and no one can believe what happened. Song also wakes the child and he hugs him, thanking him for saving his life for the second time. Song is happy that he's okay and continues his mission. At night, we see a dangerous businessman who has kidnapped a girl and locked her in a box. We learn that she is not an ordinary girl, but a spirit. He treats her this way because a tear from her eyes is worth diamonds to them. He is happy and takes her to sell her, but his good side approaches the girl, heals her wounds, puts a bandage on her, and helps her escape. This is because he has fallen in love with her. She is surprised that he is being kind to her and asks why he is helping her. He tells her, "I have a sister the same age as you, and I would never allow anyone to treat her the way he treats you." She is happy with his words and thanks him. The next day, Song Song talks to Tota and learns information from her about the creature. She tells him that it has a magical object in the shape of a mirror and that it can grant any wish he asks for. Therefore, they must defeat it before the full moon because a catastrophe could occur and a large number of people could die, as the magical object only activates at that time. He follows the bullies, listening to their conversation. He is shocked and relieved when Tota disappears from the scene. He realizes that she is not human, yet he does not show any abnormal reaction. We go to Song, who can locate the creature and observes it, continuing to follow it until he arrives at the hospital. He goes in after it, but the creature appears and tells him that it will return the mirror after it fulfills its wish. They learn that its mother is sick and in critical condition, so it wants to heal her. Song is surprised and they talk. The creature tells him that it has been living in the human world for 20 years and that it intended to hide in this woman's house until it regained its strength, but it was touched by her kindness and how she treated it like her own son, so it decided to stay with her. After that, it discovered that it now has feelings like a human, so it wants to save this mother and repay her kindness. Song is moved by its words, and Tota overhears them. She knows that the creature has a kind heart and sympathizes with it. She goes to meet Song and tells him something he doesn't know. The magic mirror, unfortunately, takes the life of the person who makes the wish, and tonight is the night of the full moon. Song is shocked by her words and decides to go and save it, but suddenly, the leader of the bullies appears. Knowing everything that's happening, he asks him to let it die because he believes all creatures are evil and that Song cannot help this strange being. But Song isn't convinced by his words and tells him that the creature has a kind heart and did all of this to save humanity. He goes to stop it. At that moment, the creature is standing in front of its mother and promises to save her. When the moon becomes full, it uses the magic mirror and wishes for its mother to be happy. The mirror grants his wish, but it pulls the creature inside. Song wants to catch it, but the bully tries to stop him because he is afraid for it. But Song pushes him aside and goes after the creature, talking to it and telling it to change its mind. But the creature refuses, saying, "All I want is for my mother to live happily." He tells Song that she will never be happy if she finds out he sacrificed himself, and that she will live in sadness and regret forever, unable to forgive herself. Still, the creature isn't convinced by Song's words and decides to sacrifice his life for her. He forces Song to help him and asks the mirror to take half of his life. Their wish is granted, and they both return to the human world, each with only half of his lifespan. The mother wakes up after being healed and is happy that her son stayed by her side. The creature reacts emotionally and is happy that her health has improved. He thanks Song, and they learn that he will now live peacefully with his mother for the rest of his life. The bully is affected by what happened and realizes he was wrong. He apologizes to Song. Song tells him to forget about it and invites him to eat because he's hungry. At that moment, we see a creature with 3 eyes standing on a high building, and we learn that it is Ninja. Using his third eye, he targets a car carrying a passenger. He jumps off the building, chases the car, stops in front of it, and splits it in two with a single swing of his sword. He gets closer and takes the bag inside. He opens it, and we learn that it contains the diamond tears the girl cried. The businessman becomes furious when he learns he was robbed. He calls the mysterious man who bought the girl from him, whose name is Wang. He tells him what happened, but Wang reassures him and asks him to come to the island, promising protection. He tells him to bring the girl so he can collect more tears, many tears instead of one. After hanging up, Wang's creatures laugh and help him. He orders one of them to carry out a specific task. Then, the king gives Song a new mission, to retrieve the magic dagger from the ninja creature. Song is forced to go to the businessman's mansion because the creature is heading there to free the imprisoned girl. He sees the creature attacking the guards and goes to talk to him, telling him that he must return the dagger. But the creature refuses and warns Song to stay out of its way, or he will regret it. But we all know Song is stubborn. He refuses and attacks him, trying to strike with all his might. However, the creature has incredible speed that allows him to dodge all of Song's attacks easily. He takes out his sword and holds it to Song's neck, but refuses to kill him. He tells him he is too weak and leaves. We then see the businessman riding in a helicopter, carrying the girl's cage beneath it. He flies to the isolated island and finds Wang waiting for him. Wang ensures him that he will be safe there, and they take him inside the palace. Many other businessmen are there, saying they came only for entertainment. They enter a secret laboratory and see many mutated creatures. We learn that Wang is gathering them to make them fight each other in front of the wealthy guests. They will bet money, and whoever wins takes the prize. Of course, the only true winner is the owner of the project. Wang tells him that he trusts him and makes him watch a battle between a monster and a mutated creature, one of Wong's creatures. The monster is huge, a predator, but the creature is confident and says he will use only 10% of his power. He attacks the monster and defeats it with a single blow. The businessman is shocked, but Wong tells him, "I have many creatures like him, and they obey my commands. This is just one of them. He can sense any danger." Then, they move the girl to a separate cell, but they are shocked to find the cage empty. The driver who was helping her is the one who freed her. He takes her out of the palace, planning to escape by plane. But suddenly, one of Wong's guards appears. He is short and seems useless, but when the driver shoots him, he is shocked to see the creature unaffected. The creature pulls out its weapons and kills him instantly. The girl is horrified by what she sees and begins to cry in fear and sadness because the man died trying to help her. Wong collects her tears, diamond tears, and the businessman becomes happy when he sees them. But then he sees a picture of Song and the ninja creature and realizes they attacked his palace. He asks Wong to finish them off. Wong agrees and says he will assign his creatures to this mission. At this time, Song is angry because he was easily defeated by the ninja creature, and he asks Tota to help him overcome its speed. She is happy that he finally agreed to train and tells him that she will take him to a martial arts expert who will help him and develop his skills. The bully hears them and agrees to go with them, and Tota keeps dragging him along. They go to a house in the mountains where they meet an old woman who tells them that she will be the one to train them. Of course, our friend the bully mocks her, thinking she is just an old woman. It's normal for him. She takes Song to a place where he will be trained, and she asks him to use his spiritual energy and stand on his hands for 12 hours. However, he can't even last 5 seconds and tells her it's impossible. He doubts her strength and starts mocking her, calling her old. To prove her strength, she asks him to attack her with all his might. But we all know, she may be old, but she's a ninja, my dear. The movements are fast, and he can't even touch her. She keeps jumping into the air, dodging his attacks, and one strike knocks him to the ground. He grows to respect her. Meanwhile, the bully is training. His task is to break a huge rock with a wooden sword. Even though every sword breaks, he refuses to give up and keeps trying. The old woman is impressed by his persistence and tells Song that the bully might surpass him and become even stronger. Song becomes jealous and refuses to be outdone. He also pushes himself with all his effort. At this time, we see the creature who had the mirror talking to the ninja. From their conversation, we learn that the kidnapped girl is the ninja's sister, which is why he's searching for her and wants to rescue her. The creature asks the ninja to give the dagger to Song and tells him he wants to help, but the ninja refuses because he doesn't acknowledge Song's power. Afterwards, we see Wong in the secret laboratory. We learn that he wants to create a portal connecting the human world to the demon world. The scientist tells him they need a lot of money to continue experiments, and he assures Wong that he will find a way to get the money. We return to Song, who is still training, but he still can't stand on his hands for more than an hour. The old woman asks him to give up, saying, "From the moment I saw you, I knew you would be no good." But when he goes outside, he is shocked to find the bully still training intensely, his hands full of wounds from using so many broken swords. Yet despite all the pain, he refuses to give up. He is determined to continue his training because he saw the power of the creatures and couldn't protect his team last time. They were all injured because of him. He becomes even more determined and pours all his spiritual energy into the sword, striking the rock again. This time he breaks it. Song sees this and becomes motivated to keep going, and they both decide to continue training. "From today, I must become stronger," he says. After 20 days of training, the old woman comes in and says he has completed the training. He managed to stand on his hands for an entire day. She realizes that his strength has grown and takes him out to test him. She asks him to gather all his spiritual power into his hand. Song focuses and gathers the power into a pistol-like shape in his hand. Everyone is shocked by the amount of energy he produces. When he fires it into the sky, it becomes a large arrow of energy so strong it reaches the clouds. Wang's guard senses this energy and heads toward it. Unfortunately, the old woman also senses he is coming and prepares for him. Because he will arrive at night, she goes to Song and tells him she trusts him. She repeatedly asks him to become her heir. She transfers all her spiritual energy to him because she is getting old and asks him to continue her path. "Your training is over. Leave now." Song thanks her for everything and promises to visit her again. He leaves, but at night, Wang's guardian arrives. And of course, the old woman is waiting for him. They laugh. They were disciples 50 years ago. We learn that he was once human like her, but he merged with a being to gain immortality and remain young. He intends to kill her to get rid of her. Unfortunately, we all know what will happen. This being has immense power. He can control his body, directing both his physical and spiritual energy to terrifying levels. The old woman is shocked by him and saddened by his situation, unable to do anything against him. And of course, we know who will win the fight. At this time, we see Song's girlfriend imprisoned, and we learn that she was kidnapped by one of Wang's guards. He can change his appearance, and did this to create a conflict between Song and the ninja. At that point, one of them would surely eliminate the other, and instead of fighting two, they would only fight one. His plan succeeds, and the two continue fighting. Song fights with all his might, but the creature with the mirror arrives. They stop, and he tells them that they were deceived. He explains everything and asks them to cooperate. The three of them agree to bring back the ninja's sister, and his friends Song agree with him and decide to go to Huang Island to free them. The bully agrees with them and goes along. When they reach the port, they find Wang's ship waiting for them, and one of his men tells them that Wang promises that if they defeat his guards, he will free the hostages he has. They are forced to accept the challenge and board the ship. Song is worried about his friend, but someone reassures him that she is fine. At this time, we see Wang's guard putting on his clothes after finishing his fight with the old woman. She is lying on the ground, and we learn that he defeated her. We also learn that Wang invited a large number of businessmen to watch. He is about to deliver the news of the old woman's death to the King of Souls, but he refuses to tell Song so that he can focus on his mission. Song and his team reach the island, but the ninja leaves them to search for his sister. The three are forced to continue their journey and enter the warehouse. Suddenly, a masked creature from Wang's guards appears and challenges them to a fight. Song wants to fight him, but one of the creatures with him tells him to go find his friend, saying he can stop him. He decides to fight him himself, and Song is forced to agree, telling him that he trusts him. At that moment, the ninja encounters a huge creature wearing armor and carrying an axe. The creature warns him to stay out of his way, or he will regret it, but the ninja refuses. They begin to fight each other, and this monster has superhuman strength. With one blow, he can break through a wall, but the ninja, of course, is fast and knows how to dodge his attacks. He decides that he must focus so he can defeat him, and the businessmen are now watching the fights, thoroughly enjoying themselves. Each one of them bets a large sum for entertainment. The creatures begin fighting each other, turning the place into a battleground. Each one uses all their strength to win the fight. At the same time, Song continues on his way, and he and the bully are forced to separate so they can search for their friend faster. She is already imprisoned next to the ninja's sister. She notices that the girl's hands are injured and uses her power to heal them. Song's friend takes a picture of what she did and realizes that she is kind. She thanks her and is confident that Song will save her. She knows they will soon be free. We go to the plant, who uses all his strength to fight the masked monster, but unfortunately, he is still weak. Here, he decides to transform into his true form and changes shape into a demonic fox. He has a magical predatory flower with him that attacks anyone who approaches. He warns the enemy and asks him to retreat, but he refuses. He moves in and attacks him, but the flower blocks all his blows and holds him. She was about to kill him, but suddenly, his energy runs out, and he returns to his normal form. He was about to defeat him, but now, death is written for him. Let's go to our ninja friend, who is using all his strength to injure his opponent. He forces the one wearing armor to take it off, and his speed increases. It turns out that all of this was a joke, and the monster in front of him wasn't using any of his real energy. Let's go to his friend, the heroine, who pretends to be sick and talks. The guard enters to see her, but she takes advantage of the opportunity and chokes him until he faints. She takes the key from him and manages to escape from prison. She goes to free the ninja's sister, but she refuses because she's afraid she might hurt her, since the guard is unfortunately dead because of her when he was trying to help. She decides to give up and stay so that no one else gets hurt, but her friend Song refuses to leave her, telling her she won't leave without her and asking her to come with her. She is moved by her words and finally agrees. They keep walking, but they feel someone very close to them and remember one of Wang's guards. They immediately start hitting him, but it turns out he is the bully. He is happy that they are okay, but when he sees the ninja's sister, hearts start popping out, and he is impressed by her beauty, reassuring them that he came with her brother to save her. At that moment, the ninja feels he is about to be defeated, so he uses all his strength and unties the band on his hand, releasing a dark, demonic energy. He attacks the creature and tries to defeat it, but the creature asks him to finish him. However, the ninja refuses and walks away. As he continues walking, we We see their friend, the one who endures the pain, being subjected to violent bites from the masked creature, who seems to enjoy torturing him. The enemy gets closer to finish him off, but they are surprised when our friend takes advantage of the moment and casts a magic spell on him. That is when the flowers begin to grow, his body becomes one of them. It pierces his heart, and the story of the masked creature ends. The businessmen are watching the match and enjoying it. At this time, the bully tries to escape with his friends, but suddenly, a shape-shifting monster appears and runs after them. They are scared and try to escape from him. The bully distracts him so he can save the two girls. He grabs a stick and starts fighting him. They use it in an armored room. The bully is about to enter at the last moment. They lock the door on them and try to help him escape, but the shape-shifting creature is waiting for them. The bully tries to hit him with the iron bar, but they are surprised. He looks for them, but he hears Huang's voice speaking to him through the microphone. He tells him, "If you win the fight, I'll let them all out." The creature that defeated the old woman enters. He is his opponent, and he knows that the businessmen, of course, are worth billions because they are all trying to make up for their losses, expecting him to win and our hero to lose. What will happen then? At that moment, Wang receives news from the scientist in the lab, who tells him, "I managed to open the gate to the demon world." Wang is overjoyed and laughs. The fight between Song and the creature begins. He tries to attack and hit it, but the creature is unaffected and knocks him to the ground. It has superhuman strength, and when it attacks again, Song barely deflects the blow at the last moment. Shockingly, the strike breaks the wall. The creature is strangely powerful, strong and fast, able to jump long distances, and with one punch, it can shatter the ground. Even the businessmen are afraid of its power and flee. No one can control it anymore. Meanwhile, the bully tries to fight the shape-shifting creature, but it is stronger than him, and he can't defeat it. His friend keeps hitting the creature to save him, but in its fury, it gets closer. It looks like it's going to kill her, but the bully remembers his friends and how he failed to protect them. Time seems to repeat itself. He steps in front of her, gathering his spiritual energy into a sword. He charges at the creature and tries to cut it. He rejoices for a moment, thinking he won, but the shock comes when the creature regenerates. It is immortal. It returns and strikes the bully again. Everyone reacts in horror. How will he die? At this moment, the King of Souls creates a magical barrier to prevent the creatures from entering the human world, but he knows the barrier won't last. He goes to meet Wang and warns him about what he is doing, that Wang is destroying the human world, but Wang tells him that this is exactly what he wants. At this time, Song fights the monster, but unfortunately, he can't get close to it. His energy is too weak. The creature throws an iron gate at him, which would have killed him, but the ninja arrives just in time and breaks it with his sword. He decides to cooperate with Song and their friends. The goal is one. They must defeat the creature. They begin attacking it, each using their strength, but it is a ferocious beast, deflecting all their blows and knocking them to the ground. It grabs Song and tries to finish him off, but his friends stop it. They try to restrain it, and Song takes advantage of the moment, using his famous move, the Spirit Energy Gun. They think they have defeated the creature, but they are shocked to see it still alive, unaffected by the attack. They realize it is impossible to defeat. The creature that changes faces enters and tells them that the old woman has died and chose a weakling like the hero to inherit her power. He keeps laughing, but the giant angel gets fed up and says, "I didn't tell you to laugh. I'm fed up with you." He grabs him and suddenly our friend dies. They are shaken. Is this the end? But of course, the shock is that they are all hiding the fact that their trainer died. The bully attacks the creature with a sword, angry and devastated, but the canary blocks the attack and falls to the ground. He sniffs at Song, who sees what's happening and remembers the old woman's words to him, "I trusted you and asked you to protect your friends." He refuses to let them harm him. He responds, and they attack the creature, moving away from his friend. Song begins to use the power. He wasn't aware of the old woman's power. He strikes quickly with his hands and feet and succeeds in bringing the creature down. He literally breaks the ground, and everyone is overwhelmed by the incredible power that Song now possesses. They think he has defeated him, but suddenly the ground collapses beneath them. The creature appears after transforming into its true form and says to Song, "I acknowledge your strength. You are truly the first person to force me to use all the power I have. It has superhuman strength to the point that no one can even touch it." It walks towards Song, who is standing frozen in shock. It approaches him and grabs him by the neck, lifting him into the air with one hand. It tells him that the secret to its strength is anger, and that it needs to see someone dear to him in danger to unleash its full power. so it approaches Song's friend, intending to finish her off, but the bully stands in front of her, protecting her with his own body. He takes the blow instead of her, and collapses to the ground, looking at Song. He asks him to defeat the creature. Song is shocked by what happened. Losing control of himself, he suddenly disappears and reappears in front of the creature, striking it with a blow so powerful that it sends the creature flying. He tells it that he will never allow anyone to harm someone dear to him. He gathers all his strength into his hands, and the energy becomes so overwhelming that the entire place begins to collapse. He unleashes a furious attack on the creature, forcing it to the ground. Exhausted, the creature tries to resist, but Song's power is too strong, and it realizes this is the end. In his final moments, the creature thanks Song for granting its wish and allowing it to use all of its power. As it lies on the ground, its soul begins to fade. We learn that the creature had long wished to die because, as a child, it saw all its friends die in front of him. From that moment, it sought overwhelming power to protect others. Over time, that power consumed him, and he was no longer human. He had been waiting for someone stronger than him to end his suffering. That day, Song fulfilled his wish. Everyone is shocked to learn that they have finally won. Here, the ninja's sister runs to the bully, uses her power, and heals him. He is relieved that he is still alive, and he apologizes to them on behalf of humans because he knows humans caused them a lot of pain. She tells him, "I know not all of them are evil," and the ninja is happy that his sister is safe. They return the magic dagger. Secondly, Song harms Wang by closing the gate because Wang no longer has anyone to protect him, and he is finally defeated. Here, Song takes the pistol, and we say to him, "Peace be upon you. Truly, you humiliated him." Then Song and his friends leave the place. After successfully completing their mission and boarding the ship, they leave the island. Song apologizes to his friend for putting herself in danger, but she tells him she's not upset because she always believed he would come to save her. She thanks him because she now has a new friend and wants to take the ninja's sister to live peacefully with them in the human world. He's delighted by her words and finally admits his feelings for her. They decide to be together. After succeeding in his mission as a spirit investigator, he thanks the Spirit King for giving him a second chance and allowing him to return to life. And thus, the series ends.